You're waiting for the big change, the diet that finally flips the switch, the plan that fixes everything at once, the dramatic overhaul that turns you, in 90 days, into a different and healthier person. You've been waiting for it for years. You may have started it several times. I want to gently suggest that it isn't coming, and that it's not coming is the best news you'll hear all week. Because the body is never healed by one great act. It has never worked that way, for anyone, ever. Your body is not transformed in a single heroic gesture. It is worn down or nourished, one small ordinary moment at a time. Hundreds of them a day, most so tiny you don't even register them as choices. The way you get out of bed, whether your neck is cold, whether you drank any water before noon, each one is nearly nothing. Together, repeated across the years, they are almost everything. This is difficult for us to accept because we've been trained to respect the grand and dismiss the small. A 90-day transformation sounds like it matters. Getting out of bed slowly sounds like nothing, and so we chase the thing that sounds impressive and ignore the things that actually accumulate. And then wonder why the impressive thing never lasts and the small things we neglected quietly added up to how we feel at 50. The Japanese, who live longer and stay capable later than almost anyone on earth, do not have a big secret. I want to be honest with you about that. Because you may be hoping for one, there is no single thing. What they have instead is a great many small things. Habits so modest, so unremarkable, that if you described them to a Western wellness expert, he'd struggle to see the point. And that modesty is not a weakness of these habits. It's the entire reason they work. Because a habit small enough to seem silly is a habit small enough to do every single day for 50 years without ever needing willpower. And a thing you do every day for 50 years shapes a body far more than anything you could do intensely for 90 days and then abandon. The small, repeated, unglamorous act is the only thing that has ever genuinely healed a body over a lifetime. The grand gesture impresses everyone and changes nothing. The tiny one disappears from view and changes everything. So this video is 8 of them. 8 small Japanese habits that quietly heal the body. And I mean quietly. Not one of them will impress anyone. Not one requires money or equipment or time you don't have or a scrap of discipline. Several will sound at first too small to bother with. That feeling is the point. That feeling is exactly why they've been working invisibly in millions of long Japanese lives while we chased the dramatic and got nowhere. And the 8th ties all the others together. Miss it, and the rest never quite hold. Let's begin the way a Japanese day begins, slowly. Morning in a Japanese house does not begin with a jolt. It begins with a pause. The first habit is not leaping out of bed. Watch an older Japanese person wake, and you'll see they don't spring up. They stir, they sit at the edge of the futon, they breathe, they let the body arrive before they ask anything of it. Only then do they stand. It looks like nothing, like slowness for its own sake. It isn't. A body hauled violently from sleep into standing gets a shock. The heart lurches to catch up. The system snaps into alarm before the day has even started. The slow rise spares it that. You spend the first conscious minute of your day telling your body either emergency or you're safe. There's time. Most of us shout the first one before our feet touch the floor. You can do this tomorrow. Wake, and instead of launching upward, sit up. Put your feet down. Breathe 3 times and then stand. 3 tiny steps. It costs you 15 seconds, and it changes the note the whole day is played in. The second is the foot soak. Not the full bath, just the feet. A basin of hot water, 10 or 15 minutes, often in the evening. Older Japanese people do this even on nights they aren't bathing, and there's real wisdom in it. Warming the feet warms the whole body from below. It draws tension down and out, quiets the system, and tells the body it's safe to let go. It is the smallest possible version of the bath, and on a tired night when a full bath is too much, it does most of the same work with a basin and a kettle. The third is eating with your eyes. In Japan, the look of a meal matters. The arrangement, the small dishes, the care in how it's set down. This is usually explained as aesthetics, but its effect on the body is quietly practical. A meal that has been made beautiful is a meal you slow down for. You look before you eat. You take it in. And that pause, that half second of seeing, is a natural break on the mindless automatic shoveling that a plate of nothing in particular invites. You don't need to become a chef. Just set your food down as though it mattered on a plate and look at it before you begin. The looking slows the eating, and the slowing is where the good is. Slow to rise, warm from the feet. Eat with the eyes first. The body is never healed by one great act. It is worn down or nourished by 100 small ones. None of these three will impress anyone, which is precisely why you'll still be doing them at 80, and why they'll still be working. The next three happen at the threshold of the home, and the first of them is one almost no Western house has kept. There is a moment in a Japanese home that happens at the front door. And it does more for the body than almost anything that happens deeper inside the house. The fourth habit is leaving the outside outside. You step into the entrance, the genkan, and you take off your shoes. You wash your hands. And in doing so, you draw a line. The day out there, its noise, its rush, its troubles, does not come past this point. This is usually explained as cleanliness, and it is. But the deeper thing it does is give the body a boundary. It marks a place where the outside ends and safety begins. A body that has somewhere it is allowed to fully arrive, somewhere the alarm is permitted to switch off, ages differently from a body that carries the street all the way to the pillow. You can borrow this even without the custom. A small deliberate act at your door, shoes off, hands washed, a breath that says, the day stops here. The fifth is keeping the neck warm. This one will sound like folk superstition, and it is old folk wisdom, but it holds. In Japan, there's a long-standing care taken to keep the neck, the back of it especially, from getting cold. A cold neck keeps the whole body braced, hunched, subtly tensed against the chill. A warm neck lets the shoulders drop and the body soften. A thin scarf does more for how your body feels than a heavy coat, because it warms the exact place the body reads for safety. It's the smallest garment, and it changes the most. The sixth is drinking water by rhythm, not by thirst. Older Japanese people tend to take water at fixed points. A cup on waking, one before the bath, one before bed, rather than waiting to feel thirsty. And there's a quiet reason this matters more as we age. Thirst arrives late. By the time an older body signals thirst, it has often already been running dry for a while, and a dry body is a subtly stressed one. Drinking by rhythm, small, regular, tied to moments you already have, keeps you ahead of a signal that no longer arrives on time. Not liters, not counting, just a sip at the same few hinges of the day. Leave the day at the door. Keep the neck warm. Drink before you're thirsty. A warm neck, a slow morning, a sip of water. The body keeps score of the smallest kindnesses. Notice what all six so far have in common. Not one of them is health in the way we usually mean it. No food rules, no exercise, nothing to measure. Each is just a small signal of safety and care, repeated until the body believes it. The last two are the strongest of the eight. And the eighth is the one holding all the others up. The last two are the ones people least expect to matter, and they matter most of all. The seventh habit is saying the greeting out loud. In Japan, the daily greetings are spoken, properly, aloud. Ohayo gozaimasu. In the morning, the words to mark a meal, the acknowledgement of a neighbor. Not thought, not nodded, voiced. And there is more happening in this than politeness. To speak a greeting is to do two quiet things to the body at once. You use the voice, which itself settles the system, and you register another human being. You are seen, and you see. That small daily transaction, repeated, is a wall against the silent isolation that does real harm to an aging body. The person who goes whole days without speaking a warm word aloud to anyone is not merely lonely. Their body is running without a signal it needs. Say the greeting out loud. Mean it a little. It is a smaller thing than a phone call, and it does some of the same work. The eighth habit is putting one thing away at a time. This is not the Sunday clean, the great blitz against accumulated mess. It's the opposite of that. It's returning each thing to its place the moment you've finished with it. The cup washed now, not later. The tool back on its hook as you set it down, katazuke. The small continuous keeping of order so that the great mess never gathers in the first place. And this is the one that holds up the other seven. So let me say why. You do not simply live in your body. You live in your body inside a room. And the room is speaking to your nervous system without pause, all day long. A space in quiet order says one thing to the body. All is well? Nothing is unfinished. You may rest. A space of gathering clutter says the opposite. A low and constant hum of something is undone? Something is wrong? Stay alert. And you stopped consciously hearing that hum years ago, but your body never stopped listening to it. It reads the room the whole time, and the room sets the volume on everything else. Which means all 7 habits before this one, the slow morning, the warm neck, the quiet meal, are being helped or undone by the space you do them in. Put one thing away at a time, and the room stays a place that tells your body it's safe. Let it gather, and every other kindness is fighting a background alarm you can't hear. You do not live in your body. You live in your body inside a room, and the room is talking to it all day long. Speak the greeting. Keep the order one thing at a time. 8 small habits, and not one of them is dramatic, which is exactly why they work. And it's worth understanding precisely why the small beats the large before you go. Look at the 8 together, and the first thing you'll notice is how unimpressive they are. Rising slowly, warming your feet, setting your food down with a little care, leaving the day at the door, a scarf, a sip of water, a spoken good morning, putting 1 cup away. Not one of them would survive a moment on a magazine cover. There is no before and after, nothing to photograph, nothing to sell. And that precisely is their power. The thing I most want you to walk away understanding, a habit only heals a body if the body keeps it long enough. And the only habits a body keeps for 50 years are the ones small enough to require nothing. No willpower, no money, no time you have to find, no motivation you have to summon. The grand 90-day plan is abandoned by March every year by almost everyone because it was always too big to carry. The habit of warming your neck when you're cold is carried effortlessly into your 90s because it never asked anything of you at all. The large gesture is loud and brief. The small one is silent and permanent. And healing is not an event. It is an accumulation. It is what 100 tiny kindnesses to the body add up to across the quiet decades when nobody was watching and nothing looked like it was working. That is the whole of Yojo, nurturing life. Not the heroic afternoon, but the small, unwitnessed, unapplauded care given to the body again and again until the years reveal what it built. So, the 8. Rise slowly and let the body arrive before you stand. Soak your feet on a tired night. Set your meal down as though it mattered, and look before you eat. Leave the day at the door. Keep your neck warm. Drink by rhythm before the thirst arrives. Speak your greetings aloud and be seen. And put one thing away at a time so the room your body lives in stays quiet. None of it will impress a soul. All of it, kept, will quietly reshape how you feel at 70. The house at the end of the day is in order. The neck is warm, nothing is undone, and the body, given 100 small kindnesses it never had to fight for, simply rests the way it was always meant to. So tell me in the comments, which of the 8 will you begin tomorrow? The slow rise, the foot soak, the warm neck, the greeting said aloud. Choose one, write it here so we can hold you to it, and then simply do the same one the next day without making it a project. If this gave you a gentler way to think about your own body, subscribe and walk this path with us. Pine and patience, small habits, deep roots.